Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're going to be taking a look at what I expect to be, at the very least, a ridiculous game of Beyond All Reason, one that was played between some top tier players on a map that is essentially considered for goofs. We're looking at a map that is an altered version of Coral Reef, is that what it's called? Something Reef. It's Special Reef today, which has well, maybe we'll just get into the history here. So Special Reef was a map that was designed for a 50,000 Discord member event for the official Beyond a Reason Discord a long while ago. Well, actually not that long ago. They just did their 60k event recently here. So anyways, it was designed for 50 players to play on each side of the map. So that's what it's balanced for. It's balanced to have that many players playing on it all at the same time, but today we're just going to be taking a look at a good old-fashioned 8 versus 8, which does mean that each of these commanders we have here is going to be having, well, suffice it to say, much more economy than normally you would have in a regular game of Beyond All Reason, especially on the Reef map, which I wish I knew or could remember the name of, but at the moment, our blue team leader spawning on the southern side as TM Slick Like Vic at 48.3 open skill. And I've noticed there's a little bit of a bug going on with the cursor. It's very difficult to see. In fact, I don't even know if OBS will pick it up. It looks like it does, just barely. You can sort of see on the edge of that Cortex Laboratory the blue dots right there. Apparently, the update to the game caused something to go wrong with older replays. And this isn't really that old of a replay, but it's just a day or two old, and I guess that's across the threshold where now any constructor I select is going to turn my cursor into a bunch of blue brambling dots. Again, I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. We're going to put up with it, though, because, well, this game just seemed too good to miss out on. So, without further ado, over on the other side here, spawning as the red team leader, as an Armada commander, it's going to be none other than Malady. Now, some of you may recognize Malady as the former Beyond a Reason champion, a tournament winner, certainly, and a very high open skill player. I mean, basically, if you're looking at Beyond a Reason as a term of, like, a ladder ranking, Malady pretty much sits on top, at least in my mind. I think most people would agree. Malady is one of those players that you kind of cringe a little bit when you see him on the enemy team. You know that you're going to be in for a rough lane. So it is cool to see that our top tier blue player is going to be going up directly against the top tier red player. As you can see, everyone and their mother is going for a magnificent rush of constructors, everyone trying to get as many of these out as possible because there's so many metal extractors to go claim up and use to produce your armies on this map. Now they're playing this map left to right, which is one of the ways to play it. You can play it left to right, you can play it top to bottom, you can even play it out of the corners, which is my preferred method of playing it, my preferred way of playing it. There's a lot of different ways you can play this this map, but this is certainly one of them, and it's a fun way of playing it because, of course, it means that everybody gets to get into the action basically immediately. TM Luis B going up here against the Hot Pink Commander Akumar Pro Chicken Dinner. Also hanging out on that northern side, we have Meow Cat Meow here at 41 open skill. My goodness. The average open skill of this lobby has got to be pretty much 30, maybe 40. Pretty impressive. And hilarious to watch these guys use all that open skill to play on a map that is effectively a meme map, right? This is not a map that's designed to be, like, competitively viable, but it does test some very important skills that are not easy to acquire. Things like macro, which are, you know, easier said than done, right? It's not all about building aphises and E-converters. There's some nuance to it. At least a little bit of nuance to it anyways. Here we have a couple of ticks harassing around all over the place, actually. We have tan ticks making it through. We also have a couple of grunts getting aggressive. Karunal on the defense here. The pawns will clean up the ticks that make it through. One of the blitzes chasing this one down. That's a race worth watching. We have the blitz chasing the tick. Looks like the tick is ever so slightly faster here. What is the speed on a tick? 132 versus the speed on a blitz is 101. Okay, tick is ever so slightly faster. Oh, is it on any unit I select? Oh gosh, okay. It's going to disturb me probably a lot more than it might disturb some of you folks, but you can see the cursor is, like, disappearing every time I select anything. I thought it was just when oh, not when I select buildings. I guess just when it's selecting units. It's so odd. Juicy find right here is the green commander Karunal. Oh, self-D. Self-D. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Oh, no self-D on that metal extractor. Okay, we might lose the second one for it. Your greed sickens me. Maybe we can simply eat up the tick here too, though. Nope, just gonna use it for some scouting. Yep, self-destructing that metal extractor was absolutely the way to go. Now the purple commander's in trouble as well. No self-D here either. Go stay right on the edge so he doesn't take too much damage with that tick as it explodes here. Gonna be headed back now towards towards the green metal extractors. It's so pesky. See, if we had self-D'd this Mex, it would have killed it. None of the scouting information would have gone up. The Mexes wouldn't have gone down. This would have been A-okay. But instead, well, we're now looking at this as potentially a triple kill. Nope, Pawn will deny the third Mex. So at the very least, there's that. But okay, riot tanks coming out of a laboratory. In fact, we're actually moving the laboratory forward here. There's some LLTs to guard this lab, which is quite nice. I think the blitzes will be shut down by those. Still, though, nice that they scouted that, because of course it means you can lay on the pressure and you know exactly where your target is that you have to aim for with a little bit of pressure. And I wouldn't really be surprised to see these commanders reaching for T2 already. We're 6 minutes into the game, and of course this is all front lines, but with how much metal is out on the map, I mean, let's just take a look at red here. 40 metal per second going into the red economy. That's well and away more than enough for T2, and Malady isn't slowing down anytime soon. You're actually using those constructors to build some advanced solar panels here because, well, we need something. We need to spend, or we need to produce enough energy to actually spend it. And constructors, I mean, they have enough build power. They're going to set those solar panels up. Wind turbines, not bad on this map. It's just that the wind speed is quite low right now.
Commander destroyed.
There's our first commander down. It's the Tan Commander on the southern side of the map here. Hasrid, otherwise known as Big Daddy Top Laner. Going to go down to a couple of those Junos. No, Janus, that's right. Juno and Janus, always getting those mixed up. Cyan Commander does go down here as well. A nice surround of pink units does bring down the Cyan Commander here. There's an LLT to guard the corpse up on the high ground, but Pro Chicken Dinner will be the winner of today's feast on that Metal Commander corpse.
Commander has died.
Wow, okay, we're really popping off here with the Commander deaths. Where was the other one? Ah, it was a little bit of a trade, okay. Blue and red commanders alike trading out right here. The beamer turret is going to be coming up on the front line, but it will be shut down nicely by the incisors. Pounder riot tank here going to be phenomenal for dealing with all of these bad boys. The pawns are sent running. And we've learned a critical lesson about vehicles versus bots. Vehicles are better. Period. Stop. No end gap. The vehicles are just outperforming the bots here across the board. Really, the only advantage you have with bots is the fact that they're so fast.
Commander
I'd love to see
destroyed.
a capture command on this. Like that'd be a nice use of resources. Reclaiming wouldn't be a bad idea either here, though. Autopilot has to be pretty thrilled with the way that this is going, though. I mean, seeing your the red commander on the enemy team in trouble like this is certainly a moment to be worried about.
Destroyed.
We do have T2 tanks rolling out of a laboratory here from the yellow commander. It looks like Kuchi sending over a couple of those lightning tanks to try and deal with the incisors. They will be powerful enough to deal with those incisors and the medium tanks, both of
destroyed.
which. Guys, can we take a break for a second? Now, it's action-packed all the way here. Raiko also trading out against Karunal. It was a little bit of a one-for-one, tit-for-tat sort of a situation. Flying Llama ZA. It's not Flying Llama Zama, it's Flying Llama Za. Going to be headed over there to try and establish some control over this massive wreckage field. Missile trucks also firing away, though. Chipping away at that commander's armor slowly but surely. About 1.5% per rocket that does connect. Yeah, and we want it, too. Okay, Cloak of the Commander will make it... Oh, okay, we're moving, actually. All right, Brown Commander does go down. Not bad. Holander moves in to try and eat up some of this juicy, succulent metal. We've got the Duracell batteries for a whole bunch of energy production, and then we've got the corpses here, of course, a giant boost to the economy. About 4,000 metal lying on the field right now for the blue team to make wonderful use out of. And we do have that T2 lab already started up here, safely tucked behind this little mountain hill sort of a situation. Holander will be happy to use that metal to go into T2, and eventually into some of those higher tech units, put on a little bit of hurt. T2 tanks have sort of stalled out the push here for the blue commander. It should be the cue to go ahead and go into T2, and indeed, we do have the T2 constructor now moving up, going to start building those T2 metal extractors. These, of course, start a chain reaction that means the next metal extractor will be easier to pay for, and the next one easier, and the next one easier, so on and so forth. Salamander's actually coming out of the lab here first. That's quite interesting. Oh, okay, we're not actually doubling into those salamanders much. We're just building one. I guess we just want something in order to counter some of those T2 units. We have 2 salamanders now at this point. Those in the riot tanks are going to be more than enough. The riot tanks plus salamanders is actually a brutal combo. The impulse from the riot tanks, of course, stunning those units, and the salamanders benefiting a lot from being able to lock their heat ray on and fire without being microed too much. It's a sneaky composition, but it can actually end up yielding huge results. Medium tanks trying to engage here against Baby Evis. Oh, Janus does get one more shot off on its missiles. Okay, nice. That's a hero LLT right there. A wonderful D-gun from the Purple Commander. Manages to take down a bunch of those tanks, and of course we're trying to reclaim some of this metal. We're also getting the Duracell crystals. We gotta be very careful about that, right? Eating up the metal gonna be super important here. Purple Commander does have the Geo, so the energy is high. We just need to figure out the appropriate place and way to spend it. Salamanders rolling out here. They're a very fast, a very cheap, a very mass-producible kind of tank, and that's kind of exactly what you want on this sort of a map where there's loads of space to operate, not necessarily cramped, confined quarters. Quakers now out to the front lines here. The Red Commander never actually had T2. We are basically just eco-greeting here and funneling metal into Yellow Com, who, oh, wait. No, yeah, T2 Lab has been disintegrated. Wow, okay. Ultra greed right here as we disintegrate the T2 Lab in order to go for the T2 Constructors to upgrade all these mexes. Not the end of the world, of course. I mean, it is quite nice, but yeah, that's a greedy play for sure. Blue Commander scaling the economy, but just going for loads of build power, wind turbines, and E-converters. But for the time being, basically locked into T1. It's a little bit risky. Our Blue Commander misreading this slightly could be quite a bit more aggressive, and there's not a lot that Melody has to counteract that, at least out of the T2 era. Yeah, those Quakers hit pretty hard. Down goes the Constructor, and of course the Radar Jammer means that there must be a commander nearby. I'm absolutely certain that Slick Like Vic has sniffed that out, that there's probably a commander. Yep, there we go. Peeling away one tank to go have a look here. Either force the commander to D-gun it, or indeed we will defend this with the other units. But that's basically a surefire sign. If you ever just see a random tower sitting in the middle of nowhere, a random radar jammer, there's a commander nearby, certainly. What a lull. Constant, non-stop action back and forth this entire game, and all of a sudden everybody hits T2 and says, wait, let's get these T2 metal extractors up and running. Makes a lot of sense, right? 4x the metal from those T2 metal extractors, well worth the investment. But it costs basically your entire economy, at least early on anyways. Bunch of T1 constructors coming up here. Just we're just mass producing T1 cons in the T1 construction worker yard. Just trying to make sure that we have the resources, or the build power rather, necessary to get these T2 metal extractors upgraded. You really do need this many constructors going around and upgrading metal extractors because frankly, there are so many of them on the map. Every cluster of 3 here yielding 23 metal per second. Our yellow hero at this point with 102 metal per second. I mean, that's more than enough for T3 at this point. And there it is. T3 Lab starts up as if almost on cue, ready to start scaling that eco, or that tech level rather, a little bit harder. Going for the fusion here is quite nice as well. We're onto a double fusion, but you don't really need a whole lot of energy production because you don't need to turn a bunch of it into metal like you normally would. You just extract metal from the ground, and you use the energy just to build units. Means you can get away with a whole lot less. T3 Lab, now well on the way. Any kinds of T3 investment here for the blue team? Doesn't look like it. Those Quakers are, I mean, slowly, really slowly thinking about moving forward. We do have a Persecutor cannon that's been set up here. Malady, I mean, suffering a little bit of pressure, but really nothing too crazy. All the T1 will be phased out very quickly here, though. These medium tanks, basically all this is going to be worthless pretty quick. We do have a little bit of push on the northern side. The medium tanks still finding some value as effectively scouting units for this Tsar to fire away with. More Tsars coming out as well, and I do like that a lot. When you've got an overabundance of metal, you may as well spend it on the most expensive, most valuable unit you can. And, of course, for core players playing vehicles, that's always going to be the Tsar. The King of Tanks. Blasting away with a definite sense of attitude. The Tsar has well earned its place as the king of the tanks. We are now rolling, wow, we're rolling Pounders and Tsars out of the laboratory here. I mean, you know what, I don't even mind just seeing a big tank of medium, or a big ball of medium tanks. I wouldn't even mind that. That would be perfectly sufficient here. Oh, Malady barely escapes being detected. pawns and ticks glancing across the Malady's detection range there, but not quite triggering it. Commander will stay cloaked. That is exactly what you need. Beamer turret coming up pretty quickly here too. We'll start firing away, and of course that will be basically all that's needed to shut down the spam. Still very curious to see why we didn't see any kind of a push right here. Blue Commander had the tech lead. Might not have realized it. I mean, obviously seeing those T2 tanks coming out, and well, eventually T3 hitting the field here shortly. Things are looking quite difficult. Might have been a little bit scary for the Blue Commander. Malady is cloaked over here, but we have nuclear bombers coming up. Northern side is suddenly beset upon. We have a whole bunch of units moving across. We got Platypus for some reason and a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what? I guess the Platypus are pretty good. They're a pretty fast light assault unit. They're a good raider bot. Are Platypus better than sprinters? I'm having a revelation here at the moment that Platypus might be the go-to over sprinters. They are 260 metal a pop. Amphibious, of course, so they can traverse the water. And they do decent damage. Like, it's not negligible. Fusion reactor pops on the northern side. We have the fighters swarming in as well as the scout planes. The thing is, those radar towers have to go down before the commander is revealed. Ooh, nuclear bombers are scouted. Not shot down by the commander, or rather not shooting down the commander. T3 lab. T3 lab. AGO instead. Alright. There was a SAM turret set up somewhere firing away with long-range anti-air missiles. Not gonna matter here, though. Fusion reactors are popped, and that nuke is rearming. Razorback out on the field to try and shoot at this, but no energy is left. That is juicy. Constructors constructors that were building the anti-nuke will be killed, rather. Wrapped up in the excitement of seeing a nuclear bomber this low on HP in the backline. Can we just start sniping things? Yeah, there we go. May as well. Anytime that bomb is off cooldown, you may as well drop it on something. Metal extractors are well worth it. These are 7.6 a pop. I think he wants that T3 laboratory, but knows that if he goes over there, this bomber is dead. Ooh, SAM turret gonna try for it. Ooh, nice nuke. Oh, it doesn't kill the nuclear missile launcher, though. That's huge. That's huge for the Orange Commander. Manages to keep the nuclear missile launcher up and running. Meanwhile, a giant air scout is going on over across the field here. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. The front lines have collapsed. The red commander has died. The red team is down to just one commander. Wait a minute, where is their last commander at? Uh-oh. I don't even see it. It's around here somewhere, that's for sure. Commanders are very difficult to pick out of a crowd. They blend in seamlessly. That's kind of why they're so difficult. There it is. Meow Cat Meow has the last commander in maroon right there. I just know a whole bunch of you were screaming at the screen right there. Brightworks. Brightworks, look up, Brightworks. Look at the screen. Comment how quickly you spotted the commander. Razorbacks firing away. I like the Razorbacks on the front here, but obviously medium tanks are going to be able to soak up a bunch of those shots, and the Banishers are going to put in some serious work, blasting those back from whence they came. Yeah, Razorbacks have to get on top of this as quick as they can before this really escalates any further. There's not really an option. It's now or never. Those medium tanks are cheap to replace, but the Razorbacks certainly are not. Static defenses are just thick enough, though. The Twin Guards putting in a ton of work, and the Persecutors, as well as the Scorpion, doing some solid effort as well. And I think this will be just enough to hold on the line, just long enough for the Blue Commander to make it out of this alive. Build power repairing all this stuff, and of course with more and more of those twin laser turrets coming up, this will be held. Okay, the siege of the red facilities now. Malady has effectively thrown themselves out of this game. Just funneling resources head first, hand over fist into the Yellow Commander's bank, trying desperately to get something done with the resources that are shared between these two. Like, Malady is just, I mean, at this point, we're basically overflowing metal. Oh, okay, we're handing over a T2 vehicle lab, I see. Fusion reactors have been rebuilt. Oh, I see. We've got some charity going on here. Okay. Never mind. It's crazy until there's a plan, right? And then all of a sudden, not so crazy anymore. No resurrect here on the Razorback is a little bit interesting. I mean, I guess we're going to go for our own T3. Cortex, superior technology, going for that very cheap T3 Shivas and Karganeths and whatnot. Very easy to produce. Very easy to find some serious value with. Uh-oh, no energy here for the Razorbacks. Yikes. Huge oversight right there. All the wind turbines have been handed over to the yellow commander for some reason. I mean, we ought to be buying a fusion reactor or two. The AGO's been handed over, so at the very least these Razorbacks can shoot now. Loads of Resbots go down. That's a nice pick. Banishers still causing a ton of problems. Did we ever evacuate that Maroon Commander to safety? I mean, I sure hope we did. Nope. Meowcat Meow is just standing there menacingly. Okay. We'd have to plunge pretty far into the enemy's lines in order to snipe that commander, but not impossible for these bombers to do. They are super good. Bombs away. Fusion reactor is the primary target. I think that's a juicy one. Second fusion reactor goes down there for the tank commander as well. Fighters are pulled from the orange commander in order to try and deal with this. They should be sniping those bombers, and both the bombers do go down. This defense is complete. Okay. Razorbacks making their way forward here. Repair bots sent to repair. Starlight's firing away into the distance is quite nice as well, using those Resbots as, or rather those Razorbacks as effectively a scouting force for the Starlights to fire away their high-energy tachyon streams. Speaking of high-energy tachyon streams, if you're interested in watching one of those, feel free to tune in every Saturday, 12 to 4 PDT. It's where we mess with the funky shenanigans, fun tech splits, and whatnot. All the wonderful tweak units you may have seen here and there across the Beyond All Reason community. We always love to test our developers' good work. There's also a Discord you can join down there while you're perusing the comments, or the, the description section. While you're browsing, there's also a link to the Discord in case you're interested in looking at that too. Scout planes in the backline here for the Orange Commander. Did we ever see this nuke get fired? I don't think so. Oh yeah, it must have hit something because it's got 88 kills. Oh yeah. I'll give you one guess. Cyan Commander's base on the northern side explains why this side has been having trouble here. We are slowly losing the base. Look at that. Weber's moving in to reclaim all this. I love to see that. We have another nuke. There it is. We have another nuke on the way. Up into the air, and we don't have an anti-nuke yet to save the day. Marauders poking around trying to find some value. Razorbacks, we also have Vanguard now moving out from the yellow laboratory that is being shared to the red commander. Boom goes the Lavender base as that super heavy thermonuclear Cortex missile connects in the backline, wiping out fusion reactors all over the place. And again, remember, these T2 metal extractors take a ton of energy. Hitting the enemy where their energy is hurts the most. Look at these res spiders. Reclaiming everything in their path. I kind of love that. Just a handful of Webers is really all it takes in order to completely eat up an entire front line of units. It's exactly what we like to see. It's what I complain about all the time. If you're going to go for an assault like this with welders and starlights and radar jammers, all that good stuff, a huge investment. At the very least, bring with you a couple of resbots. Make good on your investment here and eat up a bunch of the wreckage. Make that metal work for you. I feel like I should be like a HR motivation, like a coach or something. Think positive things. Make your metal the most for your metal. Bulwark coming up right here. Supported by a whole host of T3 units, the Vanguard is firing away into the distance, slowly but surely chipping away at a lot of these T3 units. I mean, maybe not so slowly. They do a huge amount of damage to the Vanguard. Yep. Trying to take down those static defenses first, of course. Those are always going to be the most painful to push into. Love the inclusion of the Vanguard here, though. I mean, I think it deepens this composition's complexity. Grants them the ability to strike back against these Cortex units that have a lot of range. The Shivas with their long-range siege missiles, and of course the Karganeth with just overall stupendous range. Northern side has met its end. That'll be our Seafoam Green commander, who's actually already left the game, being knocked out of, well, the game.
Destroyed.
That's a commander going down. My goodness, don't call it a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. The Maroon Commander, Meowcat Meow, has just been being chilling in the middle of the map for the longest time right here, but the blue team just doesn't have any scouting of it. They didn't know the commander was there, and all of a sudden one commander goes down for the red team, or the blue team, and it makes me wonder, are we going to be seeing the rest of them follow suit? 2 commanders remaining for the blue team. Where are they? Autopilot's commander on the southern side here, now surrounded by T3 forces all around the place. And where else? Oh, there it is. Baby Evis, the purple commander over here. Also pretty far forward. Yeah, blue team actually in a pretty rough spot. Not to mention how difficult it is to come back after your entire northern section has been lost. Not to mention, of course, all the metal that's been reclaimed by, again, these res spiders, which have been, or reclaim spiders, I should say, which have been moving around. Very nicely eating up all this here. The Starlight's doing a wonderful job of chipping away at all these structures and blasting apart anything else even less armor than those. Welders making good work of everything else that they run across here. Low on energy, but it doesn't really matter. They have just enough to fire their welder beams, and that's all that matters. Nicely done by Akumar 6. A fantastic sweep of the northern section here. A little bit of teamwork from the nuclear strike, and then, of course, cracking open that defensive line and using the Webers in order to actually make good on that investment. Bunch of scouting planes flying overhead right here. Anti-nukes are thick, but bombers are now underway. Oh, yeah, they go for the anti-nuke. Nice snipe on the anti-nuke right there. We should have a pretty good idea of exactly where every anti-nuke is here for the blue team. Maybe not. We know about one of the anti-nukes. We don't know about the anti-nuke up on the northern side here for the green commander. Nuclear missile is away. Looks like it is safe. Set in the pocket with no anti-nuke up in the air to retrieve it. Ladies and gentlemen, kaboom. For those of you that are watching this in the dead of night and had to witness a thermonuclear flash while your screen was set to the lowest brightness, my sincerest apologies. Bulwark here just face tanking that pulsar beam. Scorpion turrets, they make a lot more noise than they do damage. And they do huge damage. Mass Sharpshooter to try and counteract this. Sharpshooter Welder, of course, being one of my favorite combos. Welder Starlight is sort of the big brother to that combo. It's how you kind of step up that combo while being in T2. Sharpshooter or Starlights and Razorbacks is really the pinnacle. Bunch of grunts just staring. Watching and waiting. Whole swarm of fighters now moving in once more. Anti-nuke will be targeted. You can tell the Orange Commander's strategy. I mean, you can read it at face value. We are heavily targeting the anti-nuke facilities here of the blue team to try and open them up to nuclear strike. Nice. Killing that green anti-nuke is huge. That's a giant opening right there. And of course, once the anti-nuke is dead, it takes a long while for that missile to replenish. Even though the purple commander started this anti-nuke almost immediately, it does take a while for that anti-nuke, or that anti-nuke missile to recharge. And it will not be fast enough. The blue team does yield under the unrelenting pressure from the northern side. The hot pink commander, Akumar 6, does manage to assist their team in sweeping the leg and taking this game beyond all reason. On an epic map and of epic scale. What a wonderful match. Crazy teamwork sharing skills going on the southern side here between Gucci and our red hero there, Malady. Very interesting to see, and I always do love to see that kind of a thing. Thanks a ton for watching, though, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.